I am Priyanka Pati, and today we are here to discuss about climate change, its causes, impacts, and also some mitigation techniques to curb the effect of climate change. I would like to thank Vyapaar Jagat to give this opportunity. And at Sciknowtech, we also provide children for their overall development. And one such event is today, where children are going to be expressing their views on climate action. So, for today's generation, it is so very important to understand the phenomenon of climate change, and of course, if they understand, they would contribute that how individual efforts will lead to a larger impact on the society. I would like to welcome the students of Sciknowtech, founded by Dr. Megha Bhatt ma'am, Ahmedabad, for the session to start. Okay, so today we have gathered here on this platform to share the knowledge related to climate change and climate action. So, let's understand climate action, and for that, I would like to invite Anya Shah to put some light on that. Over to you, Anya.
Thank you. So I'm going to speak on the Sustainable Development Goal 13, that is climate action. Sustainable Development Goal 13 urges us to take action to combat climate change and its impacts. Climate change is now affecting every country on every continent. It is disrupting national economies and affecting people, costing people, communities, and countries dearly today and even more tomorrow. People are experiencing the significant impacts of climate change, which include changing weather patterns, rising sea levels, and more extreme weather events. Greenhouse gas emissions from human activities are driving climate change and are continuing to rise. They are now at their highest levels in history. Without action, the world's average surface temperature is projected to rise over the 21st century and is likely to surpass 3 degrees Celsius this century, with some areas of the world expected to warm even more. Due to changing weather patterns, sea level is rising, weather events are becoming more extreme, and greenhouse gas emissions are at their highest levels in history, affecting livelihoods, causing casualties, and disrupting local economies. Following the agreement in Paris, the historical summit that brought key global actors, including space agencies, together to combat climate change, the One Planet Summit facilitated discussion amongst the leaders from the public and private sphere on concrete actions against climate change. In one such initiative, the leaders of several space agencies proposed to set up a Space Climate Observatory, that is, SCO, to boost collaborative work by improving long-term sustainability and accessibility of climate data from satellites and facilitate raising global awareness about climate change. Since most countries do not currently share climate data gathered by satellites, this agreement seeks to promote free and open data policies as well as satellite data products. The SCO could constitute a strategic contribution to the 2030 space agenda and provide better opportunities to address the SDGs, that is, the Sustainable Development Goals, enabling worldwide cooperation towards low emission and resilient societies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anya. As Anya said about changing in weather patterns, so let us understand about the difference between weather and climate. So I would like to invite Aarush Shah to share the knowledge regarding the same.
So I'm going to tell you the difference about weather and climate. So weather refers to the short-term conditions of the lower atmosphere, such as precipitation, temperature, humidity, wind direction, wind speed, and atmospheric pressure. It could be sunny, cloudy, rainy, foggy, hot, cold, windy, stormy, snowing, the list goes on. The sun takes an important role in changing the weather, but the climate refers to the atmospheric changes over longer periods of time, usually defined at 30 years or more. This is why it is possible to have an especially uh, cold spell even though on average global temperatures are rising. Despite their differences, weather and climate are interlinked. As with weather, climate takes into account precipitation, wind, speed and direction, humidity and temperature. In fact, climate can be thought of as an average of weather conditions over the time. More importantly, a change in climate can lead to changes in weather patterns. Thank you.
Well said, Arush. Okay, so weather is a day-to-day parameter we can see, and climate. It is an average of weather condition over approximate 30 years, as Arush said. So now we also know the term about greenhouse gas effect, right? So, but what is enhanced greenhouse effect? So I would like to invite Anshini Bhatt to let us know the term enhanced greenhouse effect. Over to you, Anshini.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anshini Bhatt from Grade 6 Sciknowtech. The greenhouse gases, which are present near the surface of the earth, whereby they absorb solar energy that is in turn radiated back. This absorption of emission results in the heating up of the atmosphere, leads to global warming. Earth's most abundant greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor. The greenhouse effect is a natural phenomenon, but the extra gases produced by human activities are making it stronger. Hence, the greenhouse effect is being enhanced by humans, as now we are adding to these gases faster than oceans and plants can absorb them. The main two effects are now creating climate changes in the world. First, with the enhanced greenhouse effect, the Earth is unable to release enough heat to space. And second, global weather patterns absorb some of the overall increase in the temperature. The issues here start from human actions such as clearing and agriculture and fossil fuel burning. Thus, the enhanced greenhouse effect is the stronger impact caused by human emissions of greenhouse gases. Talking about the manner to reduce enhanced greenhouse effect: rooftop solar panels, solar water heating system, fuel cells powered by natural gas, and geothermal energy are some of the ways in which greenhouse gas emissions can be reduced by making power on site with renewables and other climate friendly energy resources. Scientists also agree that global warming is mainly caused by human activities. Specifically, the evidences which show that certain heat trapping gases like carbon dioxide are warming up the world. And believe me, if nothing is done to reduce it, we will have to be ready for serious knock on effects, such as changes in global rainfall, ocean circulation, extreme weather events, and an increase in sea level. These changes will have further consequences upon global agriculture, biodiversity, and human health. Lastly, as it is rightly said, we should no longer measure our wealth and success in the graph that shows economic growth, but in the curve that shows the emission of greenhouse gases. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anshini. So let me put it forward to you that climate change itself is a very natural term, right? But after the evolution of industrial era, the climate change has increased. For what is that it has increased? The global warming has increased. We are seeing the temperature changing, pattern in change, right? The annual precipitation changes. So enhanced greenhouse effect is a major term which causes the climate change. Now, we are very familiar with the term climate change, but let us know what are the causes of climate change. So, for example, burning of fossil fuels, right? Second is rising temperature, which we are observing in day to day life, global warming, sea level rise, intense farming, deforestation, urbanization, mining, overconsumption, and waste disposal. These are all the terms which causes climate change. Okay, so now we got to know the causes, and I would like to invite Aaditt Agarwal to let us know about the effects of climate change. Over to you, Aaditt.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the effects of the climate change can be uh, pollution, too much pollution in our environment, hard for us to breathe, and rise in ocean temperatures and the changes in weather patterns. So I want to tell you that how climate change, specifically a rise in greenhouse gas, also known as GHGs, is fueling extreme weather patterns. In particular, I want to discuss how this is rapidly increasing ocean temperatures. Since the dawn of Industrial Revolution, human activity has been rapidly increasing at the rate at which GHGs, such as carbon dioxide and methane, have been trapped in the atmosphere. In turn, this has increased global temperatures. Recently, scientists have established a worrying link between climate change and catastrophic weather events. However, I want to focus on one specific negative effect GHGs have, namely how the ocean temperature rises due to an increase in them. The ocean covers roughly about 70% of Earth's surface and holds 97% of water. Since the water has an extremely high heat capacity, the oceans are able to absorb a lot of heat without getting too hot that would otherwise have been trapped in the atmosphere. As a result of the oceans are a central part of our battle against climate change. Although the main source of ocean heat is sunlight, the rise in GHGs has significantly impacted ocean temperatures. As more and more GHGs get trapped, this decreases the amount of heat the Earth radiates into space, and more of this is excess heat is passed on to the ocean. Furthermore, this heat does not simply dissipate. Ocean waves, tides, and currents constantly mix together, moving this heat from warmer to cooler latitudes and to deeper levels as well. This excess thermal energy also re-enters the Earth in the form of melting ice shelves or even returning to the atmosphere. This is not only the link that warming ocean temperatures has with climate change. Since the water expands and becomes less dense when it warms, this has resulted in rising sea levels as well. Combined with the melting of glaciers, this globally threatens natural ecosystems and coastal human structures. Since hotter ocean temperatures will carry more GHGs, specifically carbon dioxide, this will cause seawater to become more acidic. And this process is known as ocean acidification. A major of ocean life is along the surface. And ocean acidification will cause phenomena such as coral bleaching, as well as disruptions to the entire marine food chain and ecosystem. Importantly, rising ocean temperature is making extreme weather conditions even worse. Warmer ocean surface water readily provides energy for hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones, while also increasing both their frequency and severity. Furthermore, since high sea temperatures allow for water to evaporate at quicker rate, this adds moisture to the atmosphere and increases the amount of precipitation produced by rain and snowstorms. According to the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, weather patterns are changed due to warmer ocean temperatures because the ocean is the key to the movement of water on the globe. Right now, I've painted a quite a bleak picture for you throughout my speech. Indeed, many of you are probably feeling that the current situation is hopeless. However, there are also actions we, as individual human beings and a community, can take. Cutting our carbon usage is one of the best techniques since carbon dioxide is a GHG that causes the most harm. Using cleaner energy such as solar, wind, and or geothermal energy is advisable. Additionally, all the water we use and the oceans are connected, even if we don't live near the ocean. Due to runoff, many of the chemicals we use at home end up in the ocean. In the yard, it is advised to use as little fertilizer as possible.
The chemicals in the fertilizer water runoff causes harmful algae to bloom, which disrupts the marine ecosystems. Lastly, it is important to recognize that combating climate change is imperative, and we must treat it as a global priority. If we continue on our current trajectory, society as we know it will not be able to survive. Every level of society, from individual people to governments to corporations, need to galvanize together, and immediate action is required to solve this. Our generation is arguably one of the last ones that will be able to say something that we could have done something. The effects of the decision we make now will be apparent in the future, a future in which our children and grandchildren will live. Let us all hope that we make appropriate use of this opportunity. Thank you.
Great, Aaditt. Thank you so much. So, Aaditt has mentioned temperature rising, sea level rising, ocean acidification. The major cause ocean acidification we see, have you heard about coral reefs, right? So, we all know that coral reefs acidification has started and we are not able to see it from the space. This is the only one thing which are able to be seen from the space, right? So also the extreme events were mentioned by Aaditt. So extreme events such as sea level rise, which causes storm, cyclone, floods. Okay. Recent you have heard about cyclone Fani, which has destructed approximately 2 lakh lives, right? So he also talked about curbing the climate change effects. And for that, we have to switch to renewable energy. Right now, we can see fossil fuels, for example, petrol, diesel, after some time or after some years it may not be possible that we can see these all non renewable energies, so it's better if we use renewable energy source for our energy. And due to temperature rising we see as a major impact due to climate change. Now moving forward to Gabriel Fernandes, who will let us know about polar ice melting and sea level rise, which is another one cause of climate change. Over to you, Gabriel.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel Fernandes and today I'm going to speak on ice melting and sea level rising. First of all, I would like to ask you, can anybody please name which are the largest ice sheets of the world? Well, it is Antarctica and Greenland, and unfortunately, they are melting. Scientists have proved that the sea levels have risen 8 inches, and that is a great amount. Because of the greenhouse gases that are released every year into the air, the air atmosphere is becoming warmer and warmer, and the atmosphere of Antarctica has also become warmer. Because of this, the glaciers in Antarctica are melting, and also in Greenland. This is a huge problem because scientists have proved that if this continues by 2060, the coastal regions in all of the coastal regions will be under the sea, and this is not something that we have to let happen because of, and to save the Antarctica and Greenland from melting, we have to reduce electricity usage, which is also another major cause of greenhouse gases being let into the air. To do this, we also have to take an essential step towards the decreasing of greenhouse gases in the air. If we do this, we will be able to save Antarctica from melting, also Greenland, and also the coastal regions will be safer. Thank you.
Very well said, Gabriel. Now, due to sea level rise, we see a lot of extreme events destructing and having a great impact on the living beings with loss of property. And here, Ariha Patel will be discussing about natural disasters. Over to you, Ariha.
Thank you. Natural disasters and irregular weather pattern. Climate change and increasingly extreme weather events have caused a surge in natural disasters. Simply put, changes in the global climate exacerbate climate hazards and amplify the risk of extreme weather disasters. Increases of air and water temperatures lead to rising sea levels, supercharged storms, and higher wind speeds. Worldwide, 44% of disasters have been associated with floods, and 17% have been associated with tropical cyclones. Tropical Tropical cyclones and droughts were the most prevalent hazards in respect to human losses, accounting for 38% and 34% of disaster-related deaths. Five natural disasters that beg for climate action are cyclones, which are very common in the Eastern Hemisphere, wildfires, drought, floods, and dry corridors in South America. Thank you.
Thank you, Ariha. So, rising global average temperature is associated with the widespread changes in weather patterns. Scientific studies indicate that extreme weather events, such as heat waves and larger storms, are likely to become more frequent or more intense with the human induced climate change. Now, we all have a sight about climate change and its impacts. It causes the destruction caused due to climate change, but there are also some ways to mitigate or curb the impacts of climate change. Let's hear this from Shravya Soni and Nabhya Mehta about what are the ways to reduce climate change and how one should try to increase their carbon handprint to make the earth and our environment breathe. Over to you, Shravya.
Thank you. So, today I want to talk about how to increase our handprint and decrease carbon footprint. As you know, our recent inventions have adversely affected the atmosphere. While they greatly benefit us in our day-to-day life, machines like vehicles and factory machines release a lot of smoke and harmful chemicals, affecting our climate significantly. We're moving ahead using our technology, but we don't realize that we are harming the environment while doing so. Fuel causes a lot of pollution, and to avoid that, scientists have come out with electric cars. But did you know? Some recent reports have also shown that even electric cars release some chemicals that are just as bad as burning fuel. They might not cause air pollution, but the chemicals released because of the working of electric cars can poison land and water if not treated carefully. A lot of people's idea to decrease pollution is to stop using vehicles and other technologies that we've invented. But these inventions make our life easier, and instead of trying to evade the idea, we should try to put in more research on how to use these technologies safely and find more eco-friendly ways to use them. As we are moving ahead, and that is helping us in our day-to-day life, we just have to find a way to use them without harming the environment. And I think with a little more research, time, and dedication, we can do that. So instead of actually trying to evade the idea and trying to stop the growth of technology, we should try to increase it, but in a more eco-friendly way, so we can increase our handprints and decrease our carbon footprints. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shravya. So, as Shravya said, we should increase our carbon handprint and decrease our carbon footprint. So, how are we going to do that? So, the first thing is it starts with our own self, right? So, if you're using a lot more water is wasted, then you should try to reduce the amount of wasting the water. Second thing is switch off the lights, the fans which you are not using. The third one is if you are alone and if you want to go single in a car you have or an Activa or whatever personal vehicle you have, you should try to go in public transport vehicles. So these kinds of way we can move towards sustainable development and also we can reduce our carbon footprint. Okay, over to you, Nabhya.
Good morning, I am Nabhya and I am going to talk about how to decrease our carbon footprint. First, carbon footprint is the amount of carbon we release every year by a person. We can reduce our carbon footprint by consuming local food and seasonal products, limiting meat consumption, using reusable shopping bags, and making sure to buy only what you need. We can take good care of clothes and use public transport. We can also take short showers and turn off the water while we brush or clean the dishes. We should unplug our electronic devices when we leave our phone on charge. Mitigation. Mitigation is the process of reducing our carbon footprint by reducing a carbon footprint by reducing the sources of the gases or enhancing the sinks that accumulate the gases, such as oceans and forests. Local food. Local food often claims that the food grown close to home helps prevent the global warming because it requires less fossil fuel to transport, generating fewer greenhouse gases emissions and then conveniently produce food. But the impacts on food climate do not only depend on the distance it travels, but also what happens to it before it travels. So we should eat local food. Now, what is carbon handprint? Carbon handprint. Your carbon handprint represents the benefits of positive changes you make at the same time measuring your carbon footprint. We should look more ways to get more handprints than the footprints. So we can make more efficient use of energy and materials, extend the lifespan of products, reusing products, reducing waste to make sure that and making sure that the products are recycled properly, and increasing carbon capture technologies.
Thank you so much, Nabhya. As Nabhya said, we should go more towards renewable energy and stop using non-renewable energy. Now, renewable energy is energy that is derived from natural resources that are replenished at a higher rate than they are consumed, right? Sunlight and wind, for example, are such sources that are constantly being replenished. Renewable energy sources are plentiful and are all around us. So what are the types of energy, renewable energy we know? Solar energy, wind energy, hydropower energy, ocean energy, and geothermal energy. So there are total 5 types of renewable energy sources. Increasing handprint is one another point for reducing the carbon footprint. Actions such as improving energy efficiency, reducing the use of materials, making climate friendly choices of raw material, developing product recyclability, reducing the amount of waste material, lengthening product lifespans, and improving product usability can have an impact on the product's carbon handprint. The idea behind the carbon handprint is that the company develops products and services that allows its customer to reduce their carbon footprint. The calculation gives the size of handprint caused by the company's product. The bigger the handprint, the better. When a customer starts using the product, its own footprint decreases. So now we have a very clear idea about climate change, its impacts, its effects, and more importantly, how to mitigate the impacts. I would like to add that making small changes in day to day life can create a big impact and help us to curb the impacts of climate change, global warming, such as using public transport vehicles, as I said earlier, so that we can reduce pollution as well as contribute in increasing our carbon handprint. Let us make small changes in our lifestyle so that we can help our Mother Earth to heal and deal with climate change. So, thank you all for being a part of this wonderful session. Students of Sciknowtech did a great job by spreading their knowledge regarding climate change and what actions can be taken to curb the impacts. I would also like to thank Dr. Megha Bhatt ma'am for giving me this opportunity. And last but not the least, I would heartily thank Vyapaar Jagat to give this opportunity to the students so that they can share their part of the knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
So, in
Priyanka.
fact, children,
Yes, doctor, please. Yeah,
yes,
please
in
go ahead.
fact, I just wanted to add the last part to it that always for teaching climate change, I used to always say that we should have only one motto: please follow Kyoto. So, we have to follow Kyoto Protocol. And as everyone rightly said, to understand the causes, that how human being is a major cause, to destruct all the environment around us and leading to what we call it to be climate change. And unfortunate part is like, we really, as a human being, we are the greediest species on earth. So basically, instead of spoiling our natural resources, let's start saving it right from today. So please follow Kyoto. And we must also say that if at all we want to actually join what we call it to be for the awareness of climate action or to promote this SDG goal number 13, as my children rightly said, I think I must say that we must join the community of climate change. So my dear children and the audience who are listening to all of us, okay, I was really very happy to listen to all my children and including Priyanka, you too. So thank you again. Thank you very much. And all the best for this lovely conference to Vyapaar Jagat team to not only understand what is green in all the sectors, not only about the climate change, but I think they are going to be speaking a lot about innovation and the different industries like agriculture and different sectors, including infrastructure, transport, everything turning towards greener side. So all the best to you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for organizing such a great panel. I mean, you have created, I mean, curated a fantastic the team, and I think a lot of things to learn from these children. So, Dr. Megha, before we close this particular session, I have a few questions. Wherein so you mentioned Kyoto, right? So can you explain more, because I think it looks like a jargon. So what it means, I mean, so that everybody can know
So
more about it.
basically,
Yeah.
Priyanka, would you like to go about it? Would you like to go about it, or briefly I can just say? So there are two basic protocols which we must follow. One is Kyoto and another one is Montreal Protocol. So that was about the awareness throughout the world. So basically the temperature was rising throughout the years and nobody realized it, that how in last 10 years, it really turned worst, where the temperature probably in 100 years, it was not growing so much as compared to the 10 years between 1990 and 1990.
So I think there is some
Recording
technical glitch.
stopped.
Yeah. All right. So
Could you? I
yes.
got logged out
Recording
actually.
in progress.
I was just saying that basically Kyoto Protocol is something where awareness about temperature rising throughout the world. In that convention, which was held at Kyoto, a place in Japan, and people decided to work towards what you call it to be reducing our own carbon footprints, and then uh, finally Nabhya and Shravya rightly said that increasing the activities which will be towards reducing continuous efforts towards carbon footprints and increasing our handprints. So I think with all hands up, where two hands are up like this, we should pledge, all of us. Children, I can't see you all because of the connection, I think, but if at all you are able to see me, then put your hands up on the camera so that we can pledge it together that yes, we are all towards increasing our handprints and reducing our carbon footprints. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Doctor. So, Doctor, as far as I know, Sciknowtech, it is like, think science and math, then think Sciknowtech. That is the tagline which I know as far as Sciknowtech is concerned. So, Doctor, we want to really know that, apart from maths and science, I mean, how you are teaching to these students about the climate and sustainability.
Yes, so basically, I really feel that children, they should be used as a first tool to understand climate action, because they are going to be part of the youth in next 10 years. And these children are really, really sharp, as you can understand that if they understand the phenomena well, they are actually capable of, changing the society. And I think that should be the greater idea. Being an environmental scientist myself, I always feel they must understand the different aspects of climate change, including the effects, our own activities, and how it is the small things changing lifestyle, like, changing it to LEDs or possibly in the house, making the houses energy efficient, reducing our natural resources, the usage of the same, like water, not to waste, and the waste management, what we call dry and separating dry and wet waste. Such simple things are going to, if we are implementing it at the individual level, definitely it will make a greater impact to the whole society. So I think in the carnival also, we actually, our year-long program, we culminated with a huge carnival where this time not only children had climate-related projects to make people understand what it is, but they also performed a beautiful skit. Some of these children who are already here were actually part of that particular skit where, they were talking about possibly the idea of going ahead in time, 20 years or 50 years, and what is going to be the world like with the impact of climate change. So I think that was a greater idea. We tried, conveying it to the audience, Praveen Bhai.
Thank you so much. You are doing something amazing. I mean, yeah, great things you are doing, Doctor. So, Doctor, my last question to you is because I know Sciknowtech since long, but I think our viewers, those who have logged in from across the country. So, can you tell something about the Sciknowtech and what are the set of programs you are running so that everybody can know more about Sciknowtech and
Sure.
your initiatives? Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Praveen Bhai. So basically, Sciknowtech is my brainchild, and me and Dr. Salil Bhatt, who is also a co-founder of Sciknowtech. We run it together, and basically we are into experiential science and math learning for school children. And all about understanding a particular concept in a way where, if it is introduced in a multiple way, something like with impactful audiovisual, hands-on activity demonstration, some live experiments sometimes, or possibly the do-it-your-kits done by children themselves. So when they do it, they understand it much better. As we rightly say that you tell me and I forget, you show me and I may remember, and you make me do it and I'm going to remember everything. That is the whole idea behind Sciknowtech. Yes. So entire theory definitely gets covered, and that's why they don't need to go to any other tuition classes if they are coming to Sciknowtech, number one. And that is in the annual program what I run. That's a flagship program. But we are also into many workshops, like theme-based workshops, which we conduct in different schools and clubs, where children understand a particular concept. Where in last 2 years I might have done natural disasters and fantastic physics, as two of them being very popular. So I think, and one of the very popular one, which was there in last year's summer program, what I was offering was Awesome Animals, where children are actually fond of animals. And also we are into a lot of workshops for parents to understand, for if the children are little, then, how to make them think critically. So thank you so much. I think a great opportunity and platform for my children too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you all the participant. I see very cute faces in this particular screen. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Aaditt, Aarush, Ariha. I think so many, Anshini. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. I thank from bottom of my heart, and I think this is the real thing where we are organizing such event to create the awareness about the environment and climate, and at this age you are already on it. So that is something which is a future of India, and that is a future of the entire world. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating and joining and sharing your stories, your views, and all the insights. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much to all the speaker. Sciknowtech, and I could see on your face आपको कितना मजा है, and you guys are the future of India. I'm sure जितने भी viewers थे हमारे, जितने भी लोगों ने ये session देखा है, सबने बहुत enjoy किया होगा. And thank you so much to the entire team.
Thank you, Rashi ji. Thank you. Thank you, children. We all can log out, please, beta. Thank you.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so